Hello, hello. Here we go.
Okay, you're probably bothered by the terrible sound. It's been in my videos. I was bothered by the terrible sound. So I'm going to try to use this microphone on my dad's gaming headset to there not to be as terrible sound. It's like crushing my head. Oh. Okay, what are we doing today? Atmospheric perspective. I remember now. Last week we did linear perspective, and this week, not last week, but the week before last week, because I needed a break. And this week we're doing atmospheric perspective. And I'm going to change the schedule. Before I was doing a new video every Friday, but I'm going to change it to where I do one every other Friday, so I have more time to do different videos in between, because I think that would be more fun. Let's just get into it then. First, I want to show you how you can use value to imply depth and distance in a picture. Now, in this picture or photograph of some pineapple and some people in the background, you'll notice that the pineapple have higher contrast, darkness versus lightness, than the people in the background whose tones are more equal. We'll zoom up and you'll see how light the lights are and how dark the darks are basically more different than the people in the background, which are a little bit more the same tone, which can help show the difference between stuff farther away and stuff closer up. And I can show you another reference picture of this guy dressed up, and you can see that he has more contrast. He's closer to you. You can see even the car, the closer part of the car, is more contrast than the car far away compared to the house in the background. And we'll zoom up and you'll see the dark part of his glasses and his wings are darker than even the darkest parts of the house and the shadows in the bushes. And the lightest parts, like the highlights on his ears and on his glasses, are lighter than the lightest parts of the house, because he is more contrast than since he's closer up, because the contrast sort of fades as it gets farther away. Now the way this the farther away, what's darker or lighter changes versus night or day. So in this picture, it's daytime, and stuff that's closer to you in the daytime tends to be darker than the stuff farther away. Yes, I know she's in shadow here, so it's a little bit different, but still stuff in the daytime, if it's farther in the distance, since the sun's in the sky, will be lighter because the sun's reflecting off of it. Now here's a picture of me at nighttime, and you can see how I'm lighter than everything else in the background. It was really hard for me to find a picture of in the dark time, like not in the daytime, to use as a reference for this. So I'm going to zoom up, and you can see how the farther back it goes, the darker it gets. It's not completely nighttime because I didn't use flash here, but I wanted to find one not using flash because I felt like flash didn't count. It made it not count as actual nighttime lighting. Okay, I'd like to make a note that if it's dark outside and you do have another light source besides like the moon or something, it's going to sort of change the lighting. So you would need to think about that the lights, not just that, okay, if it's daytime is this, or if it's nighttime is this, that the light source of whatever's happening outside might change the lighting and change how basically things look. I am rambling. Okay, now I'm going to show you examples of shadows that are cast by the sun versus an artificial light source. Now, shadows cast by the sun are sharper and tend to be cooler shadows, like blue toned, versus an artificial light source. Now I'm going to show you an artificial light source using a flashlight, and I'm going to be in a dark room to do it. And you can see that the shadow is a lot more fuzzy, and the farther away I move the flashlight, the sharper the shadow gets. But the closer I put the flashlight, the more weird the shadow gets, the more fuzzy. So that's why the shadows from the sun are so sharp, because the sun is really far away, versus a flashlight, which is very close, especially compared to the sun. Another thing that's important to note, and you're probably familiar with, is that detail fades as it gets farther away. Now up close you can see the best detail and everything, but then as the object begins to fade farther away, the detail begins to blur and just start fusing with each other and just becoming more solid objects instead of details. And the farther and farther away you go, the less details you can make out in an object. And you can probably already know this, but it's something sometimes you forget about when drawing, and you forget to blur the details with faraway objects. The next part is about positioning and overlapping. And basically how you position something on a page can change how far away or how close it looks, or just basically change the atmosphere. And in this picture, you can see all the Akatsuki are in a line, and they look like they're all in the same vicinity of each other. They're all in the same place. But if you make some of them move backwards, like I made Toby move back, I kept Data about the same place, and I made Saucery move down a little bit, then it changes it up and makes Saucery. I made Saucery bigger, because if you make someone closer, then he'd be bigger. So, and he's moved down on the page. Toby is smaller, and he's moved up on the page, and Data stayed about the same. And that's how you can see now how it looks like they're at different places relative to each other more than in this picture. Now you can emphasize this effect even more by overlapping them. So in this picture, ignore the terrible composition, I overlapped Saucery on top of Toby, and I overlapped Data slightly on top of Toby also. So you could tell Toby was definitely in the background behind Data and Saucery. And yeah, I probably should have composed this better so that, yeah. Okay, we're going to move on. Okay, this is a photographic example of what I just showed you. The people in the background, you can see in the beach, are really far away in the water. There's the two couple on the beach that are a little bit closer, they're slightly larger. And the girl flying the kite is the largest because she is the closest to the camera. And her kite is closer to you than the couple because the strings of the kite are flying in front of the couple. So that's the overlapping technique. Now here's one more photographic example. Yes, it's from the same beach, the same day. You can see how the buildings are farther away because they're higher up, and everything gets smaller. The people, the umbrellas, the higher up and the farther back it goes, the higher up on the page, if this was a drawing. So this has not been recording the whole time. Okay, let me just say what I did. Okay, I'm drawing a fence, and I'm going to be doing it in perspective, basically, of, when things are farther away, it gets smaller. But this is going to be a method to show you how you can decide, or basically figure out how much smaller it gets. And I'm going to be drawing a fence to demonstrate this. And so I drew the front the front post of this fence first, or just a line to indicate where the post is going to be. And then I drew the horizon line right here with the dot dot dot. And then I need to choose a vanishing point, and I put it here. Now, that's where we are so far. Keep recording, camera, or so help me. Then I'm going to decide where the next fence post is going to be, an approximate estimation of where it's going to be. And then I'm going to take the top of here, the top and the bottom of this fence post, and I'm going to line it up with the vanishing point. Scoot me over there. And I'm going to draw a line here. And I'm going to draw a line right here to get the angles. I don't know where my squishy is. Where is my squishy? I don't know, I'm just going to use this one. I think it's in my room. And now we have these two fence posts, or lines to indicate the fence posts. And next we're going to draw an X in between these two fence posts. And these are going to help us find the next fence post. This X is. Now we know the exact center of this right here. And we're going to draw a line through from the vanishing point through the very middle here. See this very middle, the back center? Yeah, we're drawing a line through there. Line it up good. There we go. And what do we do next? Oh yeah. Now, see this point right here, the very point, the top point of the first fence post? Yes. We need to line up this point with this point. So we did all this to create this point right here. That's important. Now we're going to line these two up. I'm going to draw a line from here to here. Now, right down here, see? That is where the next fence post will go. Now when you're drawing this in a normal drawing, you wouldn't have to draw all these lines all the way. You could just like line it up and then make the points. And then draw the lines that you actually need, like the fence post lines. But I'm drawing the lines all the way so you can see basically where I'm working from. Now we go to the top of the next fence post, this one, right here. And we line it up with this, right here. See that? It's lined up. And now we know right down here is where it goes. And you just keep doing that, same as that method. Top of the fence post, the middle of the fence post, line them up, draw a line, go down, draw the next fence post. And you keep doing that all the way till you don't want any more fence posts. That's as many fence posts as I'm going to have. Now I need to erase all this jazz. Oh, I remember I got my squishy, and now I'm gonna erase a bunch of things, erase a bunch of things, erase a bunch of things. Now I'm gonna erase a bunch of things. You want to erase everything but the fence posts. And the fence posts kind of died a little bit, but we're gonna add it back in. So erase these dots a little bit erasing there. Okay. Gradually make the thickness of the fence posts thinner. Should go down the fence, a little fence. Line it up, line it, and then you can get this line, so you make the fence look a little bit more dimensional.
So, weirdy.
Now you can connect the poles if you want. Wait, let's get the vanishing point back here. I can still see it a little bit, so I kept it in. So you can see the vanishing point. And I'm going to line up at the vanishing point. That's how I'm going to add some poles in here. Whatever these are called. Probably poles. I'm going to just make these round to be easier. There we go. Look how easy that was. That was so easy. This is a very useful tool that I often forget I have, that I should use more often when drawing backgrounds for stuff. I should definitely use more often. It's so helpful. What do you do? You finish a fence. What do you do? You finish a fence. You finish a fence. You finish a fence. Okay, I'm going to talk about obstructed cast shadows and basically different kinds of shadows. Shadows. I'm going to use my flashlight as my light source. See my eraser. It has straight shadow across this paper because the paper is straight. But if I put this toilet paper here and then make it go across, go like that. Yeah. See how it's got a bent shadow? Even though the eraser isn't bent, the shadow is bent because of what the shadow is falling onto. So that's important to remember when you're drawing something. Okay, this is a really rough sketch of a cube right here without doing any perspective or anything. And I'm going to add a paintbrush. Really rough drawing of a paintbrush. Just doing roughness. In the raw. Yes, I know this looks kind of trashy, but it's not about the drawing right now. It's about the shadows, which is about the drawing, but let's just pretend. Let's pretend this doesn't look like poop. Okay? Okay, thank you very much. Okay. Now, I wanted to say the light source is coming from here. So the shadow would bend, instead of just going like this, it would bend with the square, like how the shadow of the eraser bent with the toilet paper. And here we go. Look at my awesome drawing skills today. I'm just so awesome. And I'll probably have shadow back here. Shading. When you're just trying to do it really fast. There we go. Now there's another thing I need to show you. Now when you have multiple light sources on an object, it changes how shadows are. Let me close my blinds so that it doesn't interfere as much. So you can see all the shadows are sort of straight right there. And I hope my sound is recording. And now you can see how their shadows are like playing together and are overlaying. Like these shadows over here. Oh my gosh, I can't point. Let me using both. Okay, let me see if I can hold both these in one hand, but like at a distance. Okay. You can see right here the shadow coming from the big flashlight. And right here, the shadow coming from the little flashlight. In the darker spots are where the shadows are overlaying each other. So it's like different ways you have the light, the shadows could look really different. And this light's a lot stronger, so even though this one's going against it, it doesn't do as much. If I make it farther away. There we go. Oh, that's pretty cool. So when you draw a picture as multiple light sources, you have to think about that, which I said some with shading, but thought it would be cool to show you here with these flashlights. An actual demonstration. Physical demonstration. Okay, there's one other thing I want to show you. I had tried to show you this in the lesson about shading, but I couldn't remember how to do it. And I was like, I don't know, I had no brain that day. And I couldn't find it in my books to look it up, but I found it today. So I was going to show it to you. And it's basically how to do a shadow using the lines. I tried to do it, but I couldn't figure it out, but I figured it out. You put a vanishing point basically for where the light source is. So we'll put a light source right here. And then you line up the ruler with the light source or vanishing point. And then you line it up with the edge of the object. And you draw a line going off. Go with the other edge of the object. Draw a line going off. And then you can start shading that in. And you know that is where the cast shadow would be, or like the direction it'd be in from the light source. So I hope that helps you with some of your shadowing. Okay, I was originally going to draw an illustration for you today on camera using all the techniques that I taught you in this video to sort of tie it up, sort of like what I did in the linear perspective video, but it didn't really work. I think I was having artist block poop brain today, and I just drew trash, and I couldn't think of how to continue it to make it not trash. So I decided to just go back and find some of atmospheric perspective I have drawn in the past and show them to you and show you some pointers with them, point out the stuff that I talked about today in those pictures. I thought that would be, I guess, easier and better than having me draw terrible drawing on camera. Yes. Okay, let's do that now. Here's a drawing I did of Gandalf and Galadriel, based off of the third Hobbit movie, and you'll see that they are a lot sharper than the background, for it's actually a bit misty in this background, so that plays a part in atmosphere, whether it's misty or not. And you can see this one leaf that's closer to the camera is larger and a little bit sharper than the other leaves, the one right above Gandalf's arm. And if you look in the right hand corner, the right hand area, there's some spikes, and they're darker and sharper, a little bit more detailed than the rest of the photo, because they're also rest of the drawing, because they're also closest to the camera, or the viewer. Now in this other picture, based off of my character in Lotro, an online game, you can see there's a light source in the actual beginning, in the middle of the page. So that's how the shadows are moving. You can see how the shadows are moving away from it, even though there's also the moonlight source. This lantern is really the main light source in this picture. And I could probably have done better at shading this and made it even darker around this area than I did. But yeah, I made the background pretty obscure. You can't see it very well because pretty far in the distance. These are plains. In this next picture is a boy and a girl in a forest. And you can see how the trees slowly become more faded in the background. And the basket in the front is actually one of the sharpest things in the picture, even though the bunnies are slightly closer. Now in this picture, the fish or don't even have outline, because I've outlined some things, but the fish don't even have outline because they're farther away. These fish in the background. While the fish up close, especially this one, the bottom left-hand corner, is outlined and detailed pretty well. Even more outlined and detailed than probably the people. And here are 2 pages of my comic book pasted together in Photoshop. And it's a daytime view of a town or city. And you can see all the buildings in the background. I didn't even draw like all the lines. I just sort of drew the cityscape line, and how they're a lighter tone than the stuff up front and have less contrast than the stuff up front. Those are my examples for you. Thanks for watching. I hope this video has helped you, and if it has helped you in any way, let me know in the comments, and what else after that? Oh, I have something to show you. Something important. I made some flower crowns for you guys, and I hope that by the time you're watching this, they'll be up in my Etsy shop. I haven't made all the ones I want to make yet, but I want to at least put some of them up soon. Okay, this first one here is probably one of my favorite ones. It looks sort of like something Thrandra would wear, or something someone related to Thrandra would wear. It just looks really awesome. And yeah, it has that gold metallic piece in the middle. I don't know if they sell that gold metallic piece anymore. And I know they don't sell these flowers anymore, so this is definitely a one-of-a-kind crown. I'm not sure how much I'm going to price all these yet. We'll see later. Okay, this crown is inspired by Art Nouveau style, La Mucha stuff. And to keep it in really well, you probably should use bobby pins. I'm not actually using any right here in this video because I just need to hold it on my head for you to see it. But if you're going to walk around wearing it, you probably want bobby pins. This crown right here, it has a little bit of ribbons. I wish I had more ribbons to put it in, but that's all I had. And it has really cute black-eyed Susans on it. And I don't know, I just think it would look really cute with almost anything. Here's the last one. Yeah, but I don't have a name for this one. It's the purple crown. You could be a fairy with it. You could be like a fawn with it. You could be an elf thing with it. It really could work for anything. You could just be like one of those Tumblr people that wear flower crowns with it. It's a flower crown. Why am I so close to the camera? Oh my gosh.